folks. Welcome to the Quarterly Business Roundtable. We're going to get started here in just a minute or two. All right, I think we're going to get started. Good morning. Again, welcome to Charles County Economic Development Department's Quarterly Business Roundtable. My name is Jim Chandler. I'm the director of Charles County's Economic Development Department. For those who have not met, just a brief introduction. I've been a practitioner of economic development here in Maryland for the past 20 years. I started with Charles County last August and spent the past few months getting to know businesses, business leaders, my staff, our elected team. Certainly appreciative for the warm welcome from our business community and county leadership. Just want to thank you for joining us this morning at our roundtable. We do have an exciting speaker here this morning on a topic that I think is relevant for all businesses and organizations for that matter. After our speaker is done, our team is going to share with you updates on projects and business programs, and then we'll reserve some time at the end for questions and answers. The economic development team, a fairly stable group. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the names and faces from our economic development team. We do have a new face. So Molly Meehan joined us as our agricultural and rural development manager late last year. She is a longtime Charles County resident with deep roots in agriculture and local food systems. So she is spearheading the department's expansion and promotion of farming, aquaculture, and local foods. We're also joined this morning by Commissioner B.J. Bowling to provide a welcoming on behalf of the Charles County Board of Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Bowling, for spending a little time with us this morning, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate the introduction. I look forward to today and the discussion we're going to have. I want to first say good morning to everyone and thank you for being here today. It's great to see so many familiar faces online and welcome some new ones that I look forward to talking about business in the county. The conversations we're going to have today matter because the best ideas don't just come from us. They come from you, the business owners. They come from people in the room sharing real experiences, asking good questions, and learning from one another. Charles County's business community is strong because of that kind of collaboration, and today is another opportunity to build on it. I'm excited for the discussion ahead, and I appreciate each of you for taking the time to contribute today. There are many topics that are going to be discussed today and some exciting things happening in Charles County. I want to touch on a few, and I will let the team elaborate on where we are with those projects. The Western Charles Business Corridor, or better known as our naval base over in Indian Head. There's exciting things happening over there. A lot of collaboration from the state and federal partners to make those things happen. And it's not just about the base, it's about what's happening outside the base. If you all are not familiar with Berry Point, it's an exciting new commercial development going in Waldorf on the site of an old sod farm up there on Berry Road. It's providing us an opportunity to bring in some more businesses and some medical opportunities up there. Waldorf Station is kicked off, as you can see, if you drive north in Waldorf to see what's happening up there. It's pretty exciting. Have some tenants and commercial businesses that are moving in along with our residential. Commissioner Stewart introduced a couple zoning text amendments last week that are targeted to make it a little more business friendly and opportunities to be a little more prevalent in that area. I would be remiss not to mention our sports complex, and you might ask why mention that today at our quarterly business roundtable. I think it's because it's important because that's going to attract people into the county, and as an ever evolving community, travel sports are a big deal, and with that brings a lot of opportunity for economic development. And what we're doing at the mall to redevelop that project and turn it into something that's going to attract businesses into the county and make opportunities for all of us something of great importance to us. And last but not least, I'm sure many of you are aware of the press release on Monday about the Morgantown power plant being purchased and is anticipated to be back up in operation. We look forward to discussions with that company and how we can move forward. So with that, Jim, you guys are the experts. I'm going to let you take over, but I just wanted to give a warm welcome from the Board of Commissioners and extend my deepest appreciation for what you all do and for the business community, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, quite frankly. So thank you, and I'll stay on and have a listen to see what you all are talking about. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowling. So now I'm excited for the privilege of introducing Ryan Miller as our guest speaker. So Ryan is a subject matter expert who developed his skills right here in Maryland, previously serving as the Director of Office and Emergency Services with Howard County Government. Ryan's a lecturer at the George Washington University, an appointee of the Governor's Emergency Management Advisory Council, which advises the governor on all matters related to emergency management here in Maryland. He's the principal of critical functions, where he works with the CEOs and senior leadership on developing executive strategies to protect organizations' critical business functions, executing leadership, location, and logistics when sudden emergencies strike. And before I turn it over to Ryan, just a reminder, so we're going to use the Q&A function. You should see it on the screen. And so once Ryan has finished his presentation, we're going to pull questions directly from the Q&A function. So with that, Ryan, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Jim. Also, Commissioner Bowling, really appreciate the opportunity to be here and the entire economic development staff. I've been very excited to give this presentation, and yeah, let's just dive right on in. All right, so you can see there's our title. So hang on to your hat here. We're going to use Prezi, and I'm going to give you a quick overview. So that's me. Kind of if you sum up my entire career as Jim just did, at the end of the day, I help organizations protect their mission from disaster. If you try to summarize my entire career in some photos, which I've attempted to do here, it kind of breaks down into three main eras. And I'm going to do this with three little slide frames. The first being, I spent 25 years in public safety, came up through the Fire and Rescue Organization up in Howard County, was a frontline firefighter paramedic, but then just prior to 9/11, actually moved into emergency management in 2003 after finishing graduate school, and stayed in emergency management for really the next almost 20 years, ultimately becoming, as Jim mentioned.
Ryan, I don't know that we're seeing your screen.
All right, let's see. I'll give it another shot here. Try a reshare. How about now? So I see a couple people saying they can see it in the chat.
Okay, good to go.
All right, cool, great. Well, thanks everybody for chiming in there as well. So yeah, so basically, my career was as a frontline responder for most of my career, and then after graduate school, moved into emergency management, and really that was my career for the next 16 years, honestly, moving up through the organization. Even despite being a little Howard County, we had certainly our share of disasters. I think the photo on the far left there is a tornado that went through, which I know Charles County has a lot of experience with some pretty significant tornado events. And then on to the right, those of you who have been around the area are probably pretty familiar with the Ellicott City flash flood disasters, really 2011, 2016, and then 2018 as well. And for those last two, I was responsible for response and recovery to those disasters. All the while, honestly, I stepped right out of graduate school and had the opportunity to step right into teaching, which I've really loved. I love spending time in the classroom, have had the opportunity over the years to teach both public sector students, those are really had their eyes on public sector careers, as well as private sector as well. So right now, as Jim mentioned, adjunct teach at George Washington University in the program that I graduated from now over 20 years ago, as well as I teach in the Selinger School at Loyola University of Maryland up north of Baltimore. And I really enjoy taking really those lessons learned, those hard-won lessons learned, like those documented in the case study that you can see on the screen about the flash flood in Ellicott City. This
Apologies, everyone. We are experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties with our speaker. Just give us one quick second and we'll try to get him back online. We do apologize. We gotta love technology some days. Mr. Miller, if you can hear us, you have frozen on our screens. I would suggest if you want to jump out and try jumping back in. If not, if we're not able to connect with him right in this moment, Director Chandler, I might recommend that we pivot to the EDD staff updates if we can't get him back online in the next minute or two, and
Yep.
then have his presentation at the end if you are okay with that.
That sounds good to me. And to make it easier, maybe we can pull up a PDFs of his when he's back rather than the Prezi.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So why don't we we'll give him a minute or so and then see if we have to pivot over to our team's updates.
Perfect. I'm communicating with him offline, so I would say if we can pivot, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
And then we'll, apologies to the audience. We will have Mr. Miller do his presentation after the economic development one.
That sounds good. All right. Well, our team queues it up. So we are going to first hear from Mark Thompson, our Chief of Commercial Real Estate, and Paul Rupert, our Senior Commercial Development Manager. Mark, want to check to see if you are queued up and Paul is queued up?
We're ready to go.
All right.
Great.
All right.
Thank you,
Floor is
Jim.
yours.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jim and Commissioner Bowling and everybody in attendance. I served with Ryan Miller in Howard County government and saw firsthand his calm, cool leadership. So I'm sure our little curveball here will be solved, and we'll get through it and get him back to get some great information. In the meantime, I'd like to chat with you all about some really great projects that are happening in Charles County and give an update. If we can go on ahead and have the first slide. We're going to talk about 5 major projects, and you can see them there on the map. We like to give this overview because there's been a lot happening, and I'd like to talk about the Western Charles Technology Corridor, Berry Point, Waldorf Station, the Sports and Wellness Complex, and as well Morgantown. So I'm going to ask my colleague Paul Rupert to start us off with an overview of what's going on, some exciting things in the Western Charles County Technology Corridor. Paul?
Thank you very much. Again, Paul Rupert, Senior Commercial Development Manager here with the department. Excited to be here. I was brought on by the team to work on Western Charles County, and specifically the Technology Corridor, which you see here runs from Indian Head to Bryan's Road and to the Maryland Airport. Next slide, please. We've all seen significant development in the town of Indian Head over the past decade. That real estate development will continue into 2026. They're planning on 2 new projects which are moving forward. So that's an exciting development. And in tandem with that, there's really this work that's going on both on the base at Indian Head with significant federal investment, but also with our industry partners outside of the base gate. And that's really what we're focused on for 2026 is the significant numbers of contracts that have been signed recently and will be signed in the next few months, which will lead to significant hiring needs. It's projected that the industry partners will require over 200 scientists and engineers over the next 6 to 12 months to take up the work that these important contracts will facilitate in the modernization of our energetics industry. So it's an exciting time. We're working with our partners, the Tri-County Council, College of Southern Maryland, our public schools here in Charles County to also work on training of entry-level and technician level individuals to support that work. Again, it's an exciting time. Millions of dollars have been invested in the base and in our industry partners, and that will continue for the next decade. Mark, I'll turn it back to you.
Great, thanks, Paul. Next slide, please. Let's talk about Berry Point. Commissioner Bowling mentioned this. Berry Point is the largest office and industrial flex project in the county's history. It's off of Berry Road. St. John Properties, one of the nation's top developers, is bringing this project to light. And I know many of you, if you've driven by Berry Road, you've seen significant activity over there. At its culmination, it's going to be over 650,000 square feet, bringing over 2,100 jobs to Charles County. So it's a significant development, and we're very excited. We've been working with St. John Properties for many years on this. I've worked with them personally in other settings as well. A top quality developer, opening the project with the Chesapeake Regional Cancer Center. They've also got some deals signed with a national gas and convenience store to provide services to the area. Daycare and other users are working their way through the leasing process. So stay tuned. We'll be able to share more details with those as those leases come to fruition. But it's a very exciting project for the county. Next slide, please. Waldorf Station. This is the gateway to Charles County. And as I come to work every day in the county, I drive by it. And it's been really exciting to see this. This has been a long time coming. A major project for us, really broken into 2 sections. The first phase of the retail, the buildings are going up. They've got some great tenants to open up the project: Starbucks, Pollo Campero, Honey Grow, which is a new concept, a Thai fast casual concept I think everybody's going to love, very popular, and Potbelly. Leasing continues to be underway with further retail tenants. So again, stay tuned for that. Um, on the Route 5 section, I call it our residential, it's primary residential uses there. There will be some retail. The Ironwood opened up this past summer. It's a 302 unit apartment project that is really bringing a new brand of rental housing to the community, to the county, and very exciting. Their leasing has gone very well. So again, this project, as our gateway into the county, is really having a significant impact and will for many years as it's built out. Next slide, please. Let's move down the road a little bit to the Sports and Wellness Center. Commissioner Bowling mentioned this project, and this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for the county to build up our amenity base. And as the commissioner suggested, the youth sports movement across the country, and many of those who are parents live it every weekend. This is going to be anchored by a competitive swim facility. It will become the top competitive swimming facility in the region, and we'll be able to host numerous events that drives dollars both in terms of the surrounding retail and hotel stays. So we're very excited about that, and will serve as a new anchor for a complete remake of the St. Charles Town Center. We're working very hard with our partners in our Department of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism, and it will also have a very strong community focus as well. So coming up with some great amenities to balance out some of the economic opportunities here in the county. So it's going to be a complete transformation. And having worked on these projects in the past, I'm very excited to be a part of this one. It'll really be a groundbreaking project from a public-private partnership standpoint for the county as well. Next slide, please. Finally, I'd like to end our portion with the discussion of Morgantown. As Commissioner Bowling mentioned, TerraWolf, it's a Maryland-based company, energy and digital infrastructure company, purchased the 355-acre parcel. You've heard me talking about this for over the past year. This is a significant investment in Charles County's future. And I'm really excited about it because from a statewide perspective, many of you may realize or know this, but many not. Maryland is an importer of energy. We import 40% of our energy here in the state. And it's been a very key initiative of the state administration and Governor Moore to create energy generation facilities in Maryland. Well, we're going to be leading that charge. This will be a significant investment in the county to create energy, to bring new jobs and bring new investment to Charles County. And we're very excited. We've had the opportunity to get to know the key leaders at TerraWolf, and I can assure you that they're a top-notch company, again, Maryland-based, significant strengths in energy production, in environmental remediation, and really going to kick off what's going to be a new era for Charles County in terms of our economy, bringing jobs and much needed energy into the state. So with that, I'll turn it back over and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much and look forward to your questions. Oh, I'm sorry. If we can go back one. I apologize. I missed this last one. Is an important one. It's very important. Currently, the county is considering a zoning text amendment with respect to data centers, and I know there's been a lot of community conversation about this. It's important to remember that data centers are This zoning text amendment, excuse me, is the first step in a long process that is involved with any type of development. We have to set the policy framework for the type of uses. And we've worked really hard for the past 2 years in studying this area. And from an economic development perspective, it presents us with a great opportunity. But we also realize that there's some very strong concerns and issues that need to be dealt with. And we've really looked at other counties across not only Maryland, but the entire country to learn as much as we can about what are the pros and cons of data centers. Again, our department is really looking to facilitate this as an economic development opportunity for the county because the size of investment and the jobs created, very high quality jobs in creation of this much needed digital infrastructure, it's super important that we approach this very carefully, which we have done. Many of the issues that people hear about, the energy generation and consumption of data centers, the water use, the environmental concerns are included in our zoning text amendment to be carefully considered and regulated. So we're looking for a balanced approach. I think we've achieved that with the zoning text amendment that we've presented. Currently, the Planning Commission is reviewing that. They met Monday night, had some very good dialogue and discussion, and will be carefully considering this opportunity. Again, this is not the type of situation where we see in our neighbors in Northern Virginia, where many of the countries, in fact, the world's data centers are centered primarily in Loudoun County. It's not going to be a situation like that in Charles County, just by nature of the needs of data centers. There may be a handful of opportunities in the county, but we want to carefully consider those and selectively work with potential opportunities to move this forward in a balanced fashion. The Planning Commission will be then having work sessions, another work session, excuse me, coming up in March, and then it will go before the Board of County Commissioners for their careful consideration. So with that, I'd like to encourage everyone to learn more about it. There's a lot of misinformation about data centers out there. We've put together an excellent resources for the community to learn more about this important topic, and you can see the link there to our Engage page that has a lot of information detailing the work that we've done and providing some information. We've done a recent podcast with experts from around the state to discuss some of those issues. So look forward to continuing the community dialogue in this and very excited about the potential opportunity. Thanks very much, and now I'll turn it over to my colleague Anthony.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to news that you can use. As you all know, this is the fun part of the roundtable where we talk everything money, money, money. If you want some money, come up to the front of the line. I've got some money for you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so this is the section where we talk about opportunities that are available to our business community. So, listen attentively. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, offline. I'm more than happy to discuss these opportunities with all of you here on the call. Okay, if we can move on to the next slide. The first of the opportunities that we will be talking about really today is something that is specific to our healthcare community, and this is an opportunity that is more specifically targeted to public behavioral health community service providers, and that's for those who provide non-Medicaid and other types of services to our community. This grant program provides services to mental health, substance abuse, and addiction, those within that demographic, and it helps people who do not qualify for Medicaid but have financial and clinical needs. Of course, everybody requires support, and so this grant is available to service providers to help provide services to that demographic of individuals. This is a grant program that is targeted at county governments and nonprofit organizations that cater to that demographic and provide health-related services to them. And the funds provide support the delivery of mental health, again, substance use and addictive disorder services. As a lot of you might see, there is a trend that we're seeing in the county right now where we're having an increase in behavioral health services providers here in the county. And there's a reason for that. There is the moratorium across several other counties right now in the state. So Charles County is one of those counties that doesn't have that moratorium. And so we're seeing an increase in service providers coming in, obviously, bringing in revenue, hiring our residents, of course, bringing that much needed value to our residents who require those services here. For this grant program, additional information about this can be found on the eMaryland Marketplace. So if you already signed up to Emma, feel free to go on there, type this into the search, and you will get much more information. But again, like I said, you can reach out to me, and I can provide you with a lot more information on that. The next grant program is the Safe Streets and Roads for All. This is a U.S. Department of Transport funded grant program. And this grant helps local, regional, and tribal communities, including county governments, towns, and nonprofits, prevent deaths and serious injuries on the roads. I mean, with the weather that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, have been lots of accidents reported. Even prior to the weather, there have been lots of issues that we've seen and heard of here in the county. So this is a grant program that can help us to mitigate some of those issues that we have seen. The funds support planning, demonstration, and implementation activities to improve road safety. There are three subsets to this. There is the demonstration, piece of it. There is also the planning and the implementation. The demonstration activities include feasibility studies, just like you can see here on the screen. Running pilot programs for safety, testing new technology, things like speed cameras and adaptive signals. The planning grants help to develop or update safety action plans. The county has a safety action plan, while the implementation grants fund construction projects or safety strategies identified in the action plan. The implementation grants require an approved safety action plan. But this is something that for those who operate within this space, county governments, towns, nonprofits who provide focus and initiatives around safe streets and roads for all. This is an opportunity that you can definitely jump on. From safe streets, we dive straight into safe spaces for kids. So if we can go on to the next slide. As we all know, there is a shortage of affordable childcare here in the county and across the state. And with the return to office mandate, there are a lot of families that are struggling with childcare. This is a program that might help our childcare providers provide some respites to the community and those who require affordable childcare. This program helps at-risk children, so those from birth to 6 years, and their families to prepare for school, gives grants to childcare providers. Providers can use the funds for accreditation and staff training, which is extremely important because you want to be sure that your kids are being provided the right level of care, the right quality of care, and also the right level of learning within a safe space. Childcare providers who serve at-risk children, like I said, from 0 to 6 years of age, and their families, and the funds support those necessary accreditations for staff. It is very key that your staff and even the facility is properly trained and accredited. There are additional funds also from the Department of Commerce for childcare providers where you can get very low interest loans to help with your necessary improvements across your spaces, to also purchase or acquire new facilities and conduct improvements across your space, again, to help you ensure that you're providing the right quality of care and value to the kids and their families. The Nourish MD grant, this is a newly approved grant program from the state. And when I say newly approved, this is something that was released less than 2 weeks ago. So it is hot off the press. And this is a grant program that expands access to fresh foods in food insecure communities, providing the grants to eligible food retailers to support operations and improvements. There are stipulations for those who would like to access this grant program. I mean, it's open to all those grocery stores, corner stores, co-ops, farm stands, farmers markets, delivery retailers, and small food-focused stores. But for you to be able to access this grant, you must operate at least 5 days a week, year-round. This does not apply to farmers markets and on-farm markets, of course, because you have to, run the cycle or follow the cycle. But you must currently offer or plan to offer fresh, frozen, or minimally processed healthy foods. We must dedicate at least 20% of inventory or food sales space to healthy food items. You must also meet the SNAP eligibility or plan to adopt SNAP functionality. So like I said, there are those eligibility requirements for that. There is also a $250 processing fee, which is sourced from the award amount. Like we all know, you need to spend money to make money. So what's 250 when you consider the potential amount that you can get from this grant program? I'm sure there are several businesses on here, or those on here know businesses that may, benefit from this program. So feel free to let them know. Feel free to point them in my direction, or you can feel free to point them in the direction of my colleague, Molly, who oversees our ag program here in the department, for more information about this program. Okay, from food, we go on to upcoming events. These are some of the events that we have coming up in the next couple of weeks, months, and we'd like to bring this to your attention. The Tri-County Council Job Fair is coming up on the 11th of February at the BI building in the College of Southern Maryland, La Plata, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Right now, there are over 1,400 registered job seekers. There are 51 businesses that are looking to employ new people. We have, 5 resource partners that will be there also providing information to the job seekers and the businesses that are looking to employ. So if it's something of interest, or you know somebody who might benefit from this, please share this information with them. Our quarterly business roundtable for April is on the 23rd, so please sign up for that. Business Appreciation Week, another staple in the community that a lot of you, I'm sure, are aware of, runs from the 4th to the 8th of May. And this is, again, an opportunity for us to engage with our business community, appreciating you for choosing Charles County to do business. If you know a business that can benefit from the business outreaches and the other activities that we plan during that week, please point them in my direction, or feel free to let them know the dates for the Business Appreciation Week. Our fall meeting is on November 10th, so please sign up. The links will be live during the course of the year. We also do have our business retention and expansion survey, which will be going live on the 17th of this month. It's going to help us gather information from the business community about opportunities, challenges, and for us to be able to curate additional services or revamp services that will be a better benefit to the business community. That is my piece, and I'll pass it on to my colleague, Chastity, to discuss opportunities around the small, local, and minority programs.
Thank you, Anthony, so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chastity Durham Miller. I am the Small and Minority Business Development Specialist here at Charles County Economic Development Department. I help to manage and support the Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise, our MWBE, and also our Small Local Business Enterprise, SLBE programs. Today, I will be providing a brief update regarding our Business Enterprise Program Division. Next slide. Thank you. One of the updates I have, and I'm very happy to announce, is our vendor diversity contract compliance portal. The portal was officially launched to the public November of 2025, and the purpose of the portal is to access, increase transparency, and support diverse local businesses in county procurement. As you see, you could please visit our website. Please go back one more, just real quickly. Thank you. You can visit our portal. It's charlescounty.prismcompliance.com, and you also have our QR code that will take you directly to our portal. Next slide. The portal is also considered a compliance software, which will empower our division to more effectively monitor and contract compliance and create detailed reports, ensuring accountability and maximize the impact of our MWB and SLBE initiatives. Here you see some key features of the benefits, our searchable vendor database where you could put keywords in such as construction, and if you're looking for more specialized areas, you could put in waste management. And those businesses will pop up that have that special area that you're looking for. Enhanced vendor visibility, it helps business owners discover certified vendors and stay informed about upcoming opportunities. Where you see that highlighted area where it says opportunities, you're able to go into that and see more compliant where the procurement has opportunities available here in Charles County. It is also considered a one-stop shop where you have news, events, and workshops that are relevant to the business community. That was key for us to create one centralized area that you don't have to bounce all over the website like you usually would do with Charles County websites. You have a one-stop shop and you can go directly into the areas right here at the portal. Our online certification portal, this is huge. This is another huge thing that I absolutely love about this portal is that it created an online application. You no longer have to go to our website and download the PDF and then email it once you're finished with it. This is just a one-stop deal. You can go into where it says get certified and actually complete your online application digitally. We will get prompt and it creates a more effective and efficient way of doing the application. One other things and some other things that I wanted to note that's on the front of the portal is need training. Anything that you need is on this portal, and the training is key as well. So the training will also help you navigate through the portal, and Get Certified also has some additional training to help you through the application process. Next slide. Statistics, we love the numbers. We have 900 confirmed certified SLBEs and NWBEs in our program currently. We have 295 SLBEs, and we have 605 MWBEs that are currently certified. 31 new certified vendors were added to FY 2026, and we currently have 3 vendors that's in process. Next slide. And upcoming events, save the dates. We have our vendor portal trainings. It's going to be essential for us to train our community regarding the portal. Those will be taking place starting in March and they will be ongoing. And we also have continuous trainings for our application workshops. Those will be starting back in March and will be ongoing as well. Thank you, and I will turn it back over. I'm complete. I will turn it back over to Jim.
Thank you, Chastity. And I will, for those in attendance, getting our portal online has taken quite a bit of effort, and I think Chastity was underselling her role in that, but she has effectively led that effort, both to get the portal up and running and to organize the trainings. I strongly encourage you, if you are eligible for either program, to reach out to Chastity's schedule time. She's more than happy to meet with you and get you caught up on the training opportunities because they are fantastic. Part of our need for the portal was ease of use for our business community. We spent a great deal of time ensuring that the interface was very approachable, easy to understand, and so tremendous work. Also, if you have any questions about any of the business opportunities that Anthony brought up during his section, please feel free. I encourage you to reach out to him to schedule time. Again, he's somebody who's constantly out in the community, so welcome to come to your business or meet virtually, whichever is easier for you. With that, we'll turn back to our guest speaker, Ryan Miller. We have him back again to go through his presentation. Ryan, I assume you were going to take it from the top. We have Ryan back.
Yes, he is online. Mr. Miller, you are muted. If you could just unmute yourself, you should be good to go.
All right. Thank you all.
And Jack, if you want to pull back the PowerPoint to Mr. Miller's slides.
All right, and then Ryan, do we have you?
He is having technical difficulties unmuting, so I'm going to call him in and see if that helps us. So give us just one quick moment. Gotta love technology.
All right, can you hear me?
We can. Welcome back, Ryan.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's see here. A good entry for business continuity here. So Jim, it looks like I've got the slides up on the screen and you've got me live audio, right?
That is correct. And Jack's going to take control of the slides.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Jack, go ahead and advance the next slide, please. All right. Well, there's me. That's another photo. Jim, next slide, Jack. So I'm Ryan Miller. I help organizations protect their mission from disaster. Next slide, please. Okay, so what you see here is my career in basically 6 images. Next slide, Jack. So I began my career as a frontline responder and basically up here in Howard County, frontline firefighter, paramedic. Really loved working on the front lines, but then just prior to 9/11, went to graduate school for emergency management. Actually, after having been in a disaster event down in Florida was what kind of opened my eyes to a larger career in emergency management and was in graduate school when 9/11 occurred. So that when on the other side, I was basically brought into the local emergency management office, and that became my career for the next 16 years. So you can see there, I know Charles County has a history with some pretty devastating tornadoes. Howard County, not so much, but we actually had a few. That's an image on the left of a pretty big tornado that went through. But it really set the stage for later that summer in 2016. We had the first of two, really three if you count 2011, devastating flash flood disasters. And that's an image from Lower Main Street that you all in Maryland probably recall. So I was the director at that point, responsible for response and recovery for both those 2016 and 2018 disasters. Next slide, Jack. Had a unique opportunity, literally since walking out of graduate school in 2003, to kind of stay in the classroom. So I stayed on at UMBC, got to develop some curriculum, and then had the opportunity ultimately to start teaching about 10 years ago at GW, George Washington University in DC, the same program that I attended. This past fall, I was able to teach crisis and emergency management, and I just love being around students. I love passing on to them the things that I've learned throughout my career, such as what you can see on the right side there, the case study, flash flood in Ellicott City by FEMA. Some really hard-won lessons there. One is the value of pre-disaster planning, two, the value of organizational pre-disaster planning, and then certainly the value of keeping your community connected and involving them in community disaster recovery. A couple years ago, I also had the opportunity to begin teaching mainly business students up at Loyola University of Maryland in their Selinger School. So I just really had this unique opportunity to be both in the field as well as in the classroom. Next slide, Jack. So then I guess sort of the third era, if you will, would be after I transitioned out of being an emergency manager, I basically took a lot of those lessons learned and was able to start working with businesses alongside of them, largely organizations that didn't have somebody in-house to do operational risk management or develop business continuity strategies. I just really, really have loved that work. The far right side there would be a good example of just being able to work alongside of an organization, particularly in this case, from the day one of COVID all the way through out like 18 months or so, almost like as an advisor, and really valued that. Learned a ton about the inside workings of an organization and really how to complement what they're already doing with some strategies and some of the things I learned while being a frontline responder. Next slide. So despite that kind of background in the field today, I do really less direct kind of hands-on work and more coaching and teaching. So I run a program. It's about 6 weeks, once a week, called Ready and Resilient. And today we're really going to focus on really one piece of that, what is effectively session number 2, being ready to respond. Next slide. And specifically within ready to respond is what I really feel like is the real pointy end of the spear, which is being ready for that moment of impact. So you can see on the screen here, we're going to walk you through the contents of a guide that you'll ultimately have access to. If you'd like at the end, you can request a download of this document, but you can see it's pretty simple. It's effectively 3 main sections, and today I'm going to quickly walk you through sort of a summary of what's included in those 3 sections. They cover the areas of leadership, location, and logistics, and I really do believe that it's not complicated, but it can really be a game changer if you take this content, just take it back to your organization and use this guide as a way to stir up some conversations within your leadership team and make some decisions. And frankly, take a few very simple, proactive strategies to being ready for whatever that thing could be. It could be an IT failure. Next slide, Jack. All right, so we're going to adapt here a little bit. You can see here on your screen, this is actually this is a poll, and I'm going to walk you through each of these three areas: leadership, location, and logistics. But each little section is going to start with a poll. And you're going to have to trust me. I was going to be able to display this, but you have to trust that I'm watching on my side these responses come in. So if you're willing, if you could scan that QR code. This is, by the way, this would be anonymous. So if you're able to take a look at the survey, and I'll tell you what it says ultimately, and I can't see your responses. So we've got 5 people have responded. Let's see if we can get maybe 15, 20 people in here. And the question is it clear within your organization who would lead during a sudden emergency? So who is it that would step forward and be in charge? Is it really clear right now who would lead during a sudden emergency? All right, let me see what the responses are. All right, so this is looking pretty good, Charles County. We're somewhere between 3 and 4, probably generally closer to 4, which is fantastic. I know this group in economic development have done other seminars on emergency preparedness, so that's really shining through here, which is fantastic. So, you know, honestly, that's not terrible. That's fantastic. So pretty clear, generally speaking, who's going to be in charge during a sudden emergency. Next slide, Jack. So the first area we're going to cover is leadership. So that image, by the way, on the right side of the screen is actually a real photo from this area. And you can imagine if it's not clear who, you know, how to call for help or under what situations you would call for help, you know, it's not going to go well when you also don't know who's going to be responsible for responding. So you've got to make sure that it's really clear before the emergency who is going to be responsible in the leadership role to respond to an emergency and to lead that response. Of course, you're going to want to make sure that you train them for that role. And by the way, it's not always the person at the top that's best equipped for this role. It doesn't have to be. And so I think when we just kind of get used to business as usual and who's normally in these roles and who's really in charge on a daily basis, it might actually be somebody different, better equipped for this role that you want to designate. And again, you want to train them. And beyond train them, you want to make sure that there's backups as well. You want to make sure that there's at least 1, 2 people that are ready to step into that person's shoes. By the way, make sure that those around them all know when that happens and formalize it. It might be on this date, this person's away, this person's going to have the responsibility normally assigned to this person. And again, there's a lot of variety on this call, so a lot of different contexts and situations, but making sure that it's clear to the person in charge, it's clear to the organization that that person has the person's authority that would normally be in charge. I think back to during COVID, if you remember when the Prime Minister of the UK went into the intensive care unit, that really spurred a lot of conversations around organizations like, well, if I wasn't available, then who would step into my place? So making sure that that's clear in advance really lowers the anxiety level when something does occur that requires leadership. And then again, the last bullet point there is identify key support roles. Maybe that person who's normally in charge does have some supports around them. If that's the case, make sure that the person that's been placed into that backup role has those same supports. Next slide, please, Jack. All right, so quick poll here, location. Does your leadership team know where to meet to launch recovery following a sudden emergency? So if you'll jump into that poll, I'll tell you what this is looking like. Hey, we've already got some people that jumped ahead and put their responses in there. Really appreciate that. So far looking, you know, between 4 and 5. That's fantastic. Leadership team knowing where to meet to launch recovery. Next slide, Jack. We'll dive into that a little bit further. So this slide that you see, the image on the far right side is actually from a building explosion in Columbia, Maryland. And this event happened Thankfully, it was on a Sunday. There was really no one injured or killed in this explosion. But as you can imagine, those folks who left the office on Friday really expected their offices to be just like they left them when they arrived on Monday morning. In this case, I know several businesses who are located in this building, and unfortunately, they lost everything. They really, not only did they lose their workspace, but a lot of them lost key documents, materials, and the recovery was very difficult. But that's sort of an extreme version, obviously. So let me just jump through these bullet points real fast to explain to you what I mean about making sure that location is nailed down. It could just be a location within your building that if something happens, maybe it's even an IT disaster. Again, we're going to use that one a couple of times today. Maybe it's a cyber attack. Maybe you need to get your team together. It's not life safety oriented, but you need to get your team together to start making decisions. Where is that? Might be clear to you today, as evidenced by the poll. It's relatively clear to most of you. But how about a backup location? What if that wasn't available? What if you actually did have to evacuate the building? Could there be a backup location that you could designate now? And ideally, even the fourth bullet point there, pre-stage some key materials that you could jumpstart your recovery. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Like, what would you have in those pre-staged supplies? We've got a good list for you. But making sure that you've got a primary, a backup, ideally in another facility. Maybe it's in an incubator space. Maybe it's in a partner, a neighboring business, or a supplier. Maybe it's one of your professional services providers, your law firm, or your accounting firm. These are great places to say, hey, can I pre-stage some key supplies just in case I ever couldn't get into my business? And you'd want to, of course, make that under lock and key or secured, but also storing those things virtually as well. And again, we'll get to that in a second. What I meant here by virtual solutions is I'm now calling into this event. The neighborhood internet dropped, and the economic development team had to use their own continuity plan to make this, to allow me to have this opportunity to present to you. So is it Teams? Is it Google Meet? What kind of virtual solutions does your team use? And does your team all know how to use it? Maybe it's an old-fashioned conference calling system. As you heard them asking me earlier, unmute your phone. Well, I didn't have the code to actually unmute, the soft unmute my line. So train on them and make sure that everybody understands what the plan is and everybody understands how to use the various solutions. A good, myself being a good example here. On to the next one, Jack, please. So this is the last poll, and logistics. So, all right, you guys have done really good so far on each of these. Let's see how you do on, would your leadership team have the critical documents and resources immediately available following a sudden emergency? And again, the key word there is immediately. Like, could you get to them right away? And would you have them at your fingertips? All right, so the polls are coming in here. We're looking somewhere actually a little closer to 3 on this one, which makes sense. This is challenging. This guy here, this tuba player, he's got the air compressor. He's ready to go. That's not most of us. Most of us, we get really accustomed to the way things happen on a daily basis, and we don't really realize, how difficult it is to get some of these things. Next slide, Jack. We're not going to ask a poll for, how many of you could start naming or would have a list of key telephone numbers. Like most of us, this stuff lives in our phone, right? Even just phone numbers. So lists of key contacts is critically important. And, by key contacts, boy, that list can go on and on. Again, it's in the guide, so that'll be a good, kind of a checklist for you. But as an example, those might be folks like your employees, your vendors, suppliers, service providers, customers, insurers, maybe the person who manages your building. So you need to have those lists, those documents somewhere, and again, not just in one person's phone or in your phone. Also, inventorying critical systems, so having a list of all those critical systems, that might be so that, depending again on your context, it's to get another one, it's to get access to it. It might be to replicate certain portions of your business process. That could be a pretty extensive list depending on the kind of work you do. Securing vital records. Again, there's a lot that could go into vital records, but those could be contracts, agreements, insurance documents. Again, the document, the PDF, goes into some greater detail, but it could also include obligations. Your contractual obligations, legal obligations. Those are the kinds of things you need to have handy when it's time to restart the business, because you're going to want to make sure that you're doing those things. And we're almost done here. You want to make sure you have those secure backup files, again, in the cloud, very secure, but accessible to you when you need them. So we've been really far down in the weeds here, kind of tactical level stuff, which I really do believe is where we should start our preparedness journey. But I do want to leave you with a quote from the Alliance Risk Barometer. This is, you could go to the next slide there, Jack. I'll zoom in a little bit for you, I believe. Yeah, so this is part of a bigger approach to risk management and resilience, honestly. So kind of think about how this resonates with you as a leader within your organization. Those businesses that can develop integrated risk management and resilience strategies that are forward-looking, strategic, and functional, and agile enough to adapt to rapid change will be best placed to capture opportunities presented by transformative technologies and seismic changes in the geopolitical and societal trends. This was put together by nearly 3,000 risk management experts from 100 countries around the world. And I think it's a good North Star for us. It's 2026. There's a lot of challenges out there, of course. It's incumbent on us to really kind of work through our systems and make sure that we're best prepared to not get kind of caught flat-footed when the moment of impact, and then of course on into response and recovery. Next slide, Jack, and then we're wrapped up, and I think I can hand it back to Jim. So if you have any questions, again, I apologize for the technology challenge. The internet went out in my community. So we're calling in now, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You've got my email address there. And if you'd like a copy of that guide and some teaching points that'll come along with it, some additional examples, feel free to scan the QR code or reach out to me directly either way, and I'll get a copy of that over to you. Okay. Thank you all for your patience, and I'm going to hand it back to the team.
Yeah, Ryan, that was terrific, and great example. Continuity planning always necessary. I'm curious, Ryan, for businesses that maybe have a continuity plan. My understanding is it's a living document, right? You don't want to create one of these and then it sits on a shelf until a disaster happens. How often would you recommend businesses revisit their continuity plan?
Great question. So yes, I come from the school of thought that it's really more about the process than the plan itself. That's how you really build these capabilities so that when the thing happens, it's muscle memory. It's not where's the plan. It's people really feel confident and capable to do what's in the plan. So it's a tricky question, but ideally, this would be something that's continually refreshed by way of, team meetings, quarterlies, maybe once a month. But I think it's pretty clear now that within my world that, plans that are only brought out for compliance type purposes or just annually or kind of a perfunctory process, they're not valuable. And when people recognize that they're not adding value to what they do, they really, they kind of check out. They're not part of it. So I think as much as we can make this kind of engaging and interesting and show that it actually produces more confident leaders and it provides the organization with more confidence to kind of move into uncertainty, you kind of get that flywheel spinning, and then people really kind of want to be part of it, frankly.
That's terrific. I'll turn over to our team to see if we have any additional questions in the Q&A. And just for a reminder, after this presentation, we're going to post these materials We're going to post Ryan's presentation also to our website. So if you want to revisit this, certainly share it with a colleague. We strongly encourage that, but I'll leave it to my team to see if we have anything in Q&A.
Before we do that, Jim, I'm briefly going to talk about the With Love from Charles digital gift card program. This is an initiative that we have to entice people to shop locally. In Q4 2025, we had our most successful quarter to date. We moved around 100 total gift cards, totaling over $10,000. Please make sure to support your local businesses where you can. And with that, please just remember, let's go move into the Q&A. Said.
Alrighty, we have a couple questions in both the chat and then the Q&A. So the first question I am going to ask, and if I can, get all of the economic development staff to be able to turn their cameras on and their microphones back on, and we will pull them on screen as we go through this. So the first question is, do we have an update on the Western Technology Corridor signage? And I will turn that over to Jim.
We do. Actually, Paul, you want me to turn it over to you so you give the longer answer, because we actually discussed this yesterday.
Yeah, so we are working with our friends in the State Highway Administration. It's been a slow process. We have 2 of the permits in hand, waiting for that 3rd permit for the 3rd sign, and now we're working with our team here in Charles County to design and build those signs so that we can install in the month of March is the goal.
Wonderful. We actually have a couple questions for our guest speaker, Ryan. So Ryan, the next question is, can you speak a bit about the importance of having energy resiliency hubs operating when there are electricity disruptions?
Sure. Just a quick mic check again. You can hear me okay? Yep.
Yes.
I can see you all actually on the screen. I got 5 thumbs up at once. That was perfect. Thanks, guys. So at the end of the day, obviously power is very important. How you go about getting that is really going to depend on the context. If you talk to any local emergency manager, utility disruptions of all types are challenging, both energy disruptions, water, wastewater disruptions, cable, backhaul, internet. These are all really, really challenging because of how we depend on them all. So, my recommendation would be think through your organization's, needs, and then, come up with a good strategy that fits your context. A lot of organizations are now decentralized. From before, maybe we had to think about powering a building and making sure that all the technology in that building works. Well, a lot of organizations now are completely virtual. It's now the resiliency of all of those employees. So making sure that they have thought through what would they do if they lost power or lost connectivity. In fact, I turned my Wi-Fi off on my phone, and I'm now just on cellular because the internet is down here in where I am in Ellicott City. So having multiple ways to kind of quote unquote fail over to other sources of power and other kinds of infrastructure is really key. So thank you for that question.
Wonderful. And it looks like we got another question in the chat. This one says, can we detail any more on the TeraWolf purchase of Morgantown and the site consuming and how much energy the site plans to export to the grid and when, if we have anything that we're able to share? I'll turn it over to Jim and or Mark to possibly answer that one.
Yeah, I can ask generally, and I think, at this point, all information is a little premature. I think generally we're anticipating a major net positive. Morgantown's important, right? We had Secretary of Commerce down to Charles County last fall, and one of the major points of discussion was Morgantown New Life to help support energy supply throughout Maryland. And so I think we locally recognize that there's acknowledgement at the state that we cannot continue importing the percentage of energy that we do from our neighbors in Pennsylvania. And so Morgantown's a critical piece of infrastructure that, let's sort of dig into the details a little bit more before, I think everyone has answers on how much production we'll see, what type of production, etc. Mark, you wanted to add anything else to that?
Yeah, Jim, I would agree with you. It's a big, complicated project, but it's a critical project. And I can't overemphasize the importance statewide, but also beyond Maryland's borders. Our energy system is part of a 9-state, that's what we affectionately known as the grid, right? And so for Morgantown to come back online, and as you said, provide a net positive addition to our energy supply is just I can't underestimate again how important that is for not only Charles County, and not only Maryland, but the entire electric grid for our region. So it's a very exciting opportunity for us.
Wonderful. So that is the end of our Q&As that we have received. But I do encourage everyone, if you have not already, if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our economic development team and our staff, and we're happy to address and go into more details as we're able to. For any questions, concerns, we put a few of our contact informations in the chat for you all. So just as an FYI. And then also you'll be receiving after this, as our director, Jim Chandler, mentioned, the recording from today's video, as well as the PowerPoint will be uploaded to the Economic Development Team website later this week, so you'll have full access to that. We also encourage you all to please take our survey. It helps us develop our programs for future roundtable and events that we hold. We do find it very, very valuable feedback for us to make sure we're aligning the information that you as a community want to hear with what we're preparing for you. Jack, next slide. And with that, I'll turn it back over to our director for closing remarks.
Thank you, Michelle. Part of the discussion we've had as a group, we shared some of that recently with our Economic Development Advisory, is a sort of pivoting away from a pandemic, right? I think for the past several years, that was a very sort of consuming event that forced everybody to reevaluate their organization, how their organization operates. And I think there's a lot of lessons that can be carried forward from the pandemic. And I think the topic today was very relevant. It's why we thought, it would be an attractive opportunity to bring to our business community. And so, and I say that because I think it's important moving forward. We're pulling these lessons learned, and really taking them as opportunities to then apply them to what a future of Charles County is going to look like. And so I'm very appreciative for Ryan being with us today. We look forward to seeing more dialogue on this topic, future topics. As Michelle said, please, if you've not done so, engage our survey. Both the survey for this event as well as our business retention and expansion survey that Anthony discussed during his presentation, because that type of feedback helps us understand what types of programming we should be focused on for you, our partners. Last, I'll close with, and I know we had to sort of do some gymnastics on the presentation this morning, our circle of service partners. And we have a wide net of service partners throughout Charles County that are there to really help us do our job better for you all. And so at the fall meeting, we recognized our partner of the year, the Military Alliance Council. otherwise known as the MAC, for their contributions to the Charles County, as well as the business community. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the Charles County Chamber of Commerce, their 70th anniversary gala, is scheduled for for Friday, February 20th at 6 p.m. So this is a ticketed event. I spoke with Kathy yesterday, and my understanding is it's almost sold out. So if you are interested in attending, several of folks from my team will be there. Really encourage you to reach out to Kathy. I dropped some of the information in the chat to get your tickets today, because my understanding it's going to be a pretty fun event. With that, thank you very much for spending a little time with us this morning. We hope this is valuable, and look forward to further discussions. Have a great day.